Hi everybody, and welcome to the lucky 37th edition of the vlog. Today we're going to do something fun and talk about the entirety of my current arsenal. I'm going to cover the primary balls I take with me to most tournaments, as well as a couple special balls which only come with me on special occasions. At the end, I'll break down how these balls tend to fit together on 6 and 9 ball versions of my bag. As you watch, please feel free to post comments with your own thoughts on these balls, as well as if you have suggestions for gaps you might see or think I should be aware of between the balls I currently have. Also, please be aware that I'm drawing from footage across the history of my vlog, which means you're going to see some shots from quite a while ago. So there will be times when my game looks quite a bit different from how it looks today. So for this one, please don't offer up any comments on my physical game. You might be telling me about something I've already fixed. So for now, let's go ahead and get to it. We are starting out with the undisputed one ball in my arsenal, the strongest cover core combination I own, the Reality. This ball has been excellent for me on many fresh sport shots. Anytime there's either high volume or length, it's been excellent. It is still weird for me on certain patterns, like when bowling on PBA Shark, when it doesn't move very much, but that's something I have to get used to seeing. It's drilled up for early movement, and I usually keep it at 2K surface. It is super reliable, and I love it, as long as I keep in my mind what the ball is supposed to be doing. There are times when I've tried to use it on like a regular house shot. It tends to burn up really badly there, but as soon as I remember that this ball is made for heavy oil, it works well. It makes it a little bit hard to practice with sometimes because I can't really take it out to a house and shoot with it, but when I can get it set up on a sport shot, it lets me play sometimes with it, including being able to get inside with it for a bit. This is where it's nice to be able to go to a house where I know the PSO, like River Rand, and they can set up a shot for me. The other super strong asymmetric that I own is the Altered Reality. The Altered has been a fantastic ball anytime the pattern has been on the easier side. It's starred on lighter house shots or even on challenge level patterns, but I've had issues with it on harder sport shots due to it being a bit harder to control. So while it's definitely a favorite ball of mine, it's not really an auto include in the bag if I'm just taking 6. It's drilled to go a bit long and to make a hard continuous left turn, something that is great when I have room, but its lack of early traction compared to the Reality makes it a little hard to work with on more difficult shots. But when I have a shot with some room, I can throw it out to friction. It is fantastic. It lets me just sort of ease the ball out there, let me trust the ball. This ball is really good. I shot front 8 with it on a challenge pattern in game 6 of a block. So it's a great ball. It's one that I've been having some challenge with on difficult sport shots. So it's one I definitely have to keep in the bag when it's a target that I have a hard time hitting. But if my game is on, I'm hitting good targets, it's going to be really strong for me. So recognizing that I've had issues with shiny ASIMs on sport shots, I recently picked up a much more controllable option to serve as a ball down from the Reality, an Axiom. I was looking to try out the theory that a really strong covered asymmetric ball would serve me very well in this role, and Will had one available used, so I went ahead and grabbed it as a proof of concept. So far it's worked out in one game I've gotten to throw it, and I'm looking forward to getting to break this out in a longer event. Next up is the absolute benchmark ball of my entire arsenal, the ball that I pull out first for League, the ball I expect to use at some point in every tournament, the ball by which I judge and compare everything else I throw, the Phaze II. I really love how my P2 gives me a nice mix of traction and torque while still being eminently controllable. And it's a ball I can throw in a fair number of conditions. It's consistent and predictable, something has made the P2 a GOAT for the time it's been out, and its role in my bag is illustrated in that both the Axiom and the Zen have a 5x30 layout to match this one, so that I can have a very easy transition between them. The only real catch with this ball is it has a tendency to get a little bit early after a couple games, and I don't quite have the rev rate to really move inside with it, and so when that happens, I start leaving a fair amount of 10 pins. But that's when I can usually adjust, either changing my speed a little bit more than my angle, or ball down into the Zen, which gives me a little bit more angle on the end. But this is basically my starting ball whenever I have the opportunity to throw it. It's comfortable, it's consistent, I know what it's going to do, and I'm able to play it at a variety of surfaces, usually at 3K, sometimes 2K if it's going to be a little bit longer. I expect it to be ball down from the Reality. Zen Ball Good has been a sort of a meme catchphrase for half the bowling internet since this thing came out. As I started learning more about equipment in the game since the start of this vlog, I'd come to really desire one for my own because I was pretty sure it would serve as a perfect tiny step down from the Phaze II. The Rosdolls made that wish come true with one of Luke's as a gift over Easter, and from the moment I threw it, I knew it was a good fit. The Zen effectively serves as a Pearl Phaze II for me. It has the same strength, but goes just a little bit longer down lane. This lets it turn the corner a little bit more sharply, which gets back the energy that the Phaze II loses when playing in from deeper. This usually results in me kicking out the 10 pin a little bit more often than the Phaze II does once the pattern starts getting a little bit drier, especially in League. A very common day for me is going to be starting off with the Phaze II, roll out for a game and a half, change to the Zen near the end of game 2, and finish off with that for the block. It's also something that is going to serve very well for me in tournaments. I've only gotten to throw it in one so far, just being a very good controllable ball with a little bit of back end, and that's the same thing that has made the Zen a star since it came out. If you've watched my vlog, it's no secret how much I love my UFO Alert. It's been a fantastic ball on house and challenge patterns. It's a ball I can sometimes throw the first ball out of the bag, while sometimes it's a ball down for the altered. It gives me a really nice arcing shape that fits my game very well, which lets it be really controllable on patterns where I have room to play it out to a friction. It's a ball that works well for me in League when it starts getting drier, works well on house-like patterns. I was able to basically throw it for an entire 8-game block over Easter. Where I've run into problems with it recently has been on more challenging patterns, like where a sport pattern has broken down a little bit. I don't really have a good read on targeting yet. I don't know for sure if this is a weakness of the ball itself, in that it has a weaker cover or something that tends to be a bit bouncy, or if this is something I still need to learn about about lane play. But much like the alter, it's something I don't think it's going to see a ton of play more difficult shots until I get a little bit more of my game inconsistencies worked out. But for now, it's still a favorite, and I will try to use it where I can. These last few shots, though, definitely show where it is challenging to use on a sport pattern, even when it's burned up a little bit. The controllability of the ball is sometimes a little bit less than I would like it on these sorts of shots. I currently only have one true burn ball in my bag, my IQ Emerald. This is actually the oldest ball currently in my arsenal, dating back to when I was first getting back into bowling. It's a ball that I've been very comfortable with, even starting some league sessions with it before I started the vlog, back when I still had the sauce. There's a running joke about the IQ series being very good at getting 9, and this ball does that very well. But it's something that at this point just kind of comes out when nothing else works. I'm thinking about replacing it with a high road at some point, just to have something with a smidge stronger core, something I can definitely trust a bit more on tougher shots, but we'll see. But if you have an opinion about the high road versus the IQ Emerald, please feel free to leave a comment down below. I would be happy to hear your opinions on these balls. But for now, it's going to be a ball that's going to sort of sit in my bag as a burn ball. If it's a thing that I know the lanes get long, like down in games 8, 7, and 8 of a block, it's something I know I can trust. It's just not necessarily a ball that's going to be the best for me in a given situation. That said, the history I have with this ball and its absolutely gorgeous color scheme means it's always going to have a soft spot for me, and it's one I will probably keep for a very long time. Speaking of IQ series balls getting 9, I also have an IQ Tour Solid. This ball holds a weird place for me. I picked it up cheaply because it's highly recommended as a bailout ball, something to go to when you just need to get through, but I've barely thrown it. Today it's been a backup ball on short patterns, but other than that, I'm not really sure where I'm going to use it. It's in the 9-ball arsenal in hopes that it'll find a place, but I rarely get into a space where I am so lost that I feel like I need to pull it out. What's become a specialist ball for me is my promotion. After winning this in a charity raffle, I figured out that would be a very good short pattern ball for me. I don't really have the revs to need urethane, but an early, smooth, rolly ball like this one has similar qualities, which makes it very controllable for me on these patterns. I do want to spend some time with it and see where else I can throw it. The promotion gets a lot of good press from people who really like it, and a lot of people that I trust love this ball. I'm just not really sure where it's going to serve me. We'll have to figure this out. I do know that it's kind of challenging to use on a house shot because it just kind of rolls out a little bit. It's, again, like an IQ in that it leaves a 9 a lot, but I'll have to figure out where I can use this. Again, if you have ideas where someone with my rev can throw this ball, please let me know. Otherwise, it's going to be a ball that just comes out as a short pattern ball Not so much one I'm going to be using on longer patterns or ones where I need to have a lot of hook. Finally, there's not much else to say about the old Phaze. I love this ball. I threw 277 with it, but it doesn't really live in the tournament arsenal anymore. Its intended use as a Zen-like shape has been covered by an actual Zen, but it's not different enough from the P2 and Zen to serve in the same role as an IQ Emerald. For now, it's largely going to live in a possible league bag or as bag filler when I don't want to take the IQ Tour with me. I may play with the surface a little bit. Putting it into 3K or 4K rather than polish might create an interesting shape difference, and that may see if I can give it a good roll in my bag. Otherwise, it's going to end up in a lovely place of honor behind me on camera here on the vlog because I will always love the party pairs. It has served me very well as I learn more about the modern game and about my game, and so it's one that's always going to be kept. So how do these all fit together? Depends on where I'm going, how long the event is, and how many bowls are expected. For a 5-game block with 3 or 4 bowlers per pair, I'll probably take 6. If it's an 8-gamer with 5 or 6 bowlers, I'll definitely take a full 9. In between, well, it'll be judgment call. I may take 9, but intend to leave 1 tote in the car. For League, I'm generally going to take 6 these days, 2 totes, just to allow for plenty of variability in how 2 5-bowler teams break down a pair. When I'm taking 6 to a tough sports shot, I'm going to take all of my controllable stuff. That means the Reality, Axiom, Phaze II, Zen, either the IQ Emerald, IQ Tour, or maybe the Phaze, plus the spare ball. If the shot is more challenge level or is one I feel I can attack a bit more directly because it has less volume, I may swap out the Reality and Axiom, 2 very early balls, with the Altered and Alert. On conditions like that, the Phaze II is often strong enough to serve as a strong control option for me. Overall though, I am currently very happy with this 9-ball arsenal as shown. At some point I may replace the 2 IQs with something that I know fits me better, but for everything else, it's been worked out to fit my game very well. Do you have ideas to share? Definitely comment below. If you like seeing videos of this type, please be sure to hit that like button. And as always, please consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. In the meantime though, thank you very much for watching and I hope you join me for the next one. Good luck and good bowling.